Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty is a book that it's like I don't know if it's a nonfiction. It's not. I wouldn't consider it a self-help book, but it's a nonfiction book about a man who was in finance and he wanted to join an ashram to become a monk. And basically, the book sort of tells the journey of like him in India doing all the monk stuff, but also the way that it transformed his mind spiritually and physically and mentally. And so on the one hand, you get the sort of physical journey of him becoming that and finding his purpose, finding his dharma, which is like his purpose in life. And then, his current day now of what he was able to do with the book and his platform. So I don't know anything about Jay Shetty. I don't even know what he looks like, actually, because there's no cover on this book. But this book was a friend at work let me borrow it, and she said it was very good. And the book is good, but it's also hard to read in the sense that there's a lot of information. It's only like 280 pages, but there's lots of like gray chunks of exercises you can do that are spread throughout, so sometimes it breaks the flow of your reading. Also, there's just so much information that it's not the type of book that's easily read within like 3-4 days. There's a lot of information. If I were to read 100 pages of this book, it'd be like so much. So I had to slow down the pace. I usually read really fast, but with this book I had to slow it down a little bit so I can absorb a little bit more of what he was saying. There's a lot of references to quotes in other books, other monks, other things like that. But the gist of this book is basically saying, is there a way that you can serve other people and sort of change your outlook for a positive by getting rid of certain things like negative gossip, complaining, comparing, criticizing all the time, trying to find a better way to meditate and to basically center yourself in a way that lets you live your daily life, but also improve the lives of others around you. And it's a really transformative book. It definitely changed the way I do things. Sometimes you like to gossip about other people at work, because they're not as good as you, but it's it doesn't really do anything to complain about other people. It feels therapeutic in the moment, but overall, you should be discussing ways to go on forward with dealing with the problematic things that are affecting you in your life. So for example, you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off. You could let that bother you for the whole day, or you could meditate and let it fall behind and basically roll with the punches. And that's like a simplification of what this book has to offer, but it's really good in the sense that it gives you a personal insight into what his life was like. There's a lot of stuff going on, and he found so much enlightenment, really. And there's a lot of like homework, and there's a lot of like, it's a book that it would be probably better to own. I can only borrow this book, but there's like, you can look back and you can look at all the different exercises throughout. There's like literally lots of different, every time there's a gray thing, it doesn't look like there's gray things, but near the end of the book, yeah, like this, gray chunks here, things like that give you different little exercises, basically homework of sorts. And there's also a test at the back that can show you what kind of varna you are. And there's a lot of terms in this book. It's very like dense. It's not something you can just pick up easily. It's something you have to give a lot of attention to. You have to absorb all the information, basically. So Think Like a Monk is a pretty excellent book, and I gave it a 4 out of 5.